And it looks like we have another spectacular discovery from a somewhat distant star system, approximately 11,500 light years away from us. And in this case, a discovery that involved a star behaving in an extremely strange way. In this case, researchers described it as star going completely bonkers, which basically meant that we just witnessed some kind of a very unusual event that seems to happen relatively rarely, but may potentially explain so much more about everything from how planets are created to how planets like Earth eventually acquire moons. And so in this video, as the title of the video suggests, we're going to be discussing a somewhat unusual discovery of a direct planetary collision observed in a distant star system. But here we have to start with the mystery of the discovery first, just so that it all makes sense. And it all begins with the famous Gaia, the incredible ESA telescope that was able to track the motion of various stars for many years. And one of these stars is known as Gaia GIC1, technically referred to as Gaia 20 EHK, a Sun-like main sequence star 11,500 light years away from us in the constellation of Puppis, and a star that you can kind of see in this image. So here's just one pixel, mostly because it's pretty far away from us. And well, this is an exciting system because this is an F-type star, just a little bit more massive and a little bit hotter than the Sun. And so here it's technically almost a Sun-like star. But for most of its recorded history, this was a very stable and a very quiet star, basically just like our Sun is right now. Yet starting in 2016, things started to change dramatically, and so here, based on a lot of data coming from the Gaia Space Telescope, researchers found that the starlight coming from this object started to dip in a very unusual way. As a matter of fact, it seems to have dipped 3 separate times, with a lot of the light flickering and dimming invisible light in a way that we haven't actually seen before previously. But things became even stranger in 2021, or approximately 5 years later. Here the light fluctuations became extremely chaotic and unpredictable, which for a stable star like this one should be practically impossible. This is a star that's in its stellar adulthood, which means that it should be very stable and should not deviate in brightness this much. And so whatever was happening here was definitely super strange and has never been seen before. And this was not just some kind of a tiny flicker, the light was actually going up and down by approximately 25%. But in order to figure out what's happening, researchers have to take a look at this in a slightly different spectrum. And so here astronomers decided to take a look at this in the infrared along with the visible light. And surprisingly, the actual flickering was very different. So in visible spectrum, or the light that we can see with our own eyes, the star was dimming by as much as 25%. But when they checked the infrared data, they basically found almost the opposite. The star was getting much brighter in the infrared, and the flickering was almost absent. And in astronomy, such a spike is usually indicative of just one thing. Things are just getting hotter, or something in the star system was getting extremely hot and was most likely responsible for this flickering. And well, 4 years ago, it was not entirely clear what's actually happening. But now, by using different models, and by focusing on modeling the changes, researchers officially concluded that this had to be a massive cloud of dust that was mostly producing all of these unusual effects. But the obvious question here was, of course, so where exactly did this dust come from, and why was it getting so hot? Because in this case, the dust was heated to about 900 Kelvin, or about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, 620 Celsius, which made it much hotter than typical gas we find in these stellar systems. And the only event that seems to fit the pattern is basically this. The sudden dimming, the chaotic light changes, and the extreme heat had to be produced by some kind of a catastrophic collision. And due to its sheer size, it had to be 2 planetary bodies. In other words, the only way to explain this was through a massive collision around a star. But the thing is, this is obviously not the first time we've seen something similar, as we've discussed at least some of these in some of the videos in the description. But here, this discovery is actually unique. And I guess let's discuss why. So normally when it comes to planetary collisions, we do think of them as pretty common in young stellar systems as they basically grow up. But they should be incredibly difficult to see in real time because they tend to happen on a vast cosmic scale and possibly only happen every few 100 million years. And so here what makes Gaia GIC1 so important is actually the location of the crash. This particular collision seems to have happened approximately 1 astronomical unit away from the star. And that might sound familiar. That's because this is exactly the same distance as the Earth's orbit around the Sun. And if you remember, the history of Earth actually did start with a very similar collision, except that this one happened 4.5 billion years ago. And so here we are basically watching a kind of a replay of early history of our own solar system. Because scientists today believe that billions of years ago, a Mars-sized object, today referred to as Theia, slammed into the young Earth, spraying a lot of debris into space and eventually resulting in the formation of the Moon. And so here this new discovery gives us a front row seat to an actual event that might be very similar to the one that created our own planet. Or at least that's the assumption for now, based on the observations from the last few years. Because right now all of these observations, and especially the very hot debris, seems to definitely point at a planetary smash-up. And so, for all we know, this may mirror an ancient giant impact that happened in the solar system as well. But as I previously mentioned, this is obviously not the first such event that was observed in other star systems. And here let's just briefly discuss a few that we've seen before, but that were not as exciting. And I think this one is probably the most famous. This is the star known as Fomalhaut. A star that for many years researchers believed contained an extremely large planet. Except that over the years, this planet basically kind of started to vanish. You can see this happening in this image. And yet, a few years back, researchers discovered another object in a slightly different orbit, but with just as much brightness. And so here the question was this actually the formation of another planet? And turns out that the best explanation here involves not a planet at all, but instead an expanding cloud of debris from a massive collision between two smaller planetesimals. And in this case, we have now observed two happening in real time, approximately 10 years apart, making this one of the most exciting real-time observations in astronomy. Then we have this other system known as Beta Pictoris that seems to show evidence of at least two giant collisions, but in this case they seem to have happened a while back. One must have happened approximately 150 years ago and has now left behind a feature known as the cat's tail. Essentially a feature that's believed to be left after a planetary collision that you can kind of see in this image extending from the right. But this one is obviously not as exciting because this happened a long time ago. But then we have a system known as NGC 2547-ID8. And here astronomers potentially observed two separate impacts, one in 2012 and one in 2014. But this was also a little bit different because the first impact was possibly some kind of a grazing impact, with two objects eventually surviving. Or basically two objects bouncing from each other. But then 2 years later, they finally collided, which essentially resulted in this somewhat unusual light spectrum involving a build-up and a blowout at least 2 times. Now in this case, this is all just based on the light spectrum, so we're not 100% certain that this is what happened. But the collision between two planetesimals right now makes the most sense. Although here this happened somewhere closer to orbit of Mercury, at approximately 0.3 astronomical units away. And so in comparison, this recent observation from Gaia GIC1 may have also involved some kind of a grazing event first, because of these unusual dips in brightness before the main event. These were basically like precursor collisions, as two objects spiraled into each other before the final catastrophic impact produced a massive expanding cloud of molten rock and dust. And naturally, this is a really important observation for many different astronomical fields, including astrobiology. Mostly because today we know that the moon seems to play a major role in making Earth habitable. It obviously stabilizes our tilt, it creates tides that mix ocean chemistry, and it may even help drive tectonic activity. In other words, without the moon, life on Earth would most likely be impossible. But right now we have no idea if the Earth-Moon system, with the moon itself being relatively large, is actually common. Or essentially, is this some kind of a 1 in a billion type of an event, which would obviously make extraterrestrial life dramatically more difficult to find. And so in this case, by catching one more of these collisional events in progress, we can start making conclusions about the possibility of habitability out there, or essentially how often habitable planets may form, assuming the moon is actually necessary. In other words, how many of these impacts may produce a moon, and how many of these planets might end up being habitable following such a collision. But because this is also at the same distance as Earth is from the Sun, it really makes this event a kind of a modern-day analog for the giant impact hypothesis, which makes this one of the most important observations when it comes to trying to prove the hypothesis correct. And so by catching this in the act, we can study exactly what happens to this system in the next few years, and possibly find out how Earth-like planets develop over time. And that means that by studying the cooling and clumping of all of this dust in the next few years, and by figuring out how this debris cloud settles in the coming years, researchers will gain additional understanding into what happens after the collision and how the system stabilizes. And moreover, this will also allow astronomers to potentially discover more similar events that must have been missed previously by going through the archival data and by trying to find very similar brightness changes from other stars. But we also know that the now operational Vera Rubin Observatory is actually expected to find as many as 100 planetary collisions in the next 10 years, which means that we'll be able to figure out how common Earth-like collisions actually are, and how likely these collisions are to produce moons similar to our own. And so here this would move the study of planetary collisions from just some kind of a single lucky observation to a statistical field of science, allowing us to determine how common Earth-like formation stories actually are. And as we continue to monitor this star, we may see the additional evolution of the dust cloud, and may even see the formation of this new planet, and of course its moon, or maybe even moons. And so this is definitely an extremely rare opportunity to watch the chaotic birth of a planetary system in real time. But obviously it's kind of far away from us, so we're not going to be able to see too many details. On that note though, we'll definitely come back and discuss this more once there are some additional discoveries, and until then, check out some of the previous videos on a similar topic in the description below. Thank you for watching, subscribe, come back tomorrow to learn something else, support this channel on Patreon where you can find additional videos without any ads and can DM me directly, or by joining the channel membership that grants you early access. You can also support this channel by buying the Wonderful Person t-shirt in the description below. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye bye.